Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank all of you for your testimony and for your service. I know there's been a lot of focus, at least conceptually, on the new strategy, and I've long been concerned that we don't strike the adequate balance between going after terrorists and investing in long-term stability in terms of democracy and development. So I'm pleased to see this strategy being unfolded. I would like to get a little more granularity. Maybe Assistant Secretary Fee, you could give me an example, whether it's Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, how we're doing something different because of this new strategy in one of those countries, or pick another example. Just a little bit of meat on the bone would be helpful, I think, in terms of aligning resources with the new strategy.
Great. What we are trying to do right now in discussions about FY22 is work within the administration to reallocate resources into the democracy and governance space. So we've talked a little bit here about the difficulty of working with military-led governments, but there are many components of a society that support a transition: women, NGO activists, constitution drafting exercises, those types of things. So we're looking to apply those resources to implementing partners that have a long track record, like NDI, IRI, IFES, and whatnot. And also working with the regional organization ECOWAS to support technical advisors that they might provide. I mentioned also that we're discussing how we can identify resources, targeted personnel resources, to go out and help advise on how to move out of a military-run government to a democratic government. So that's I think the first priority, that we're looking to reshift our allocation into those types of programs.
Got it. And so we can expect to see that in the allocation of AID resources principally, or you're also include, what are the other resources are we talking about?
I have a very, very tiny budget, and I have worked hard to befriend F in the State Department, but seriously, I have support from our leadership to try and implement the strategy, and we're doing that in partnership with USAID.
Right. And so Assistant Administrator Jenkins, so that's an area that you're can continue to brief this committee and subcommittees with respect to. As you said, there's a long list and it gets some detail, but I'd be interested in seeing how exactly you're implementing this.
We'd be very happy to start that conversation and have that an active conversation. I'll just add, the way we got to the strategy was new as well. With development, USAID as a full partner at the table working on this together and stressing the need for the development work we do, not just the counterterrorism thing. That in itself, and the fact that we have this now strategy that is a shared strategy that we all are committed to, is something that is a great innovation.
Got it. Ms. Blyden, I know that Senator Rounds asked you about the number of countries where we've seen recent coups, and I think you responded that, well, that does mean we have fewer partners going forward. I guess I want to back that up, because what we've seen over time is a lot of the coup leaders, in many cases, are organizations, individuals that we have had a previous relationship with. And I think that's probably what drove some of the new strategy, is trying to rethink how we go about doing that. Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs and I today are introducing legislation that it's called the Upholding Human Rights Abroad Act, and what it would do is expand the Leahy law requirements to also include a couple other DoD-based programs that are not currently included. This is not an effort to tie people's hands, but it's an effort to accomplish what I think is the goal of this new strategy, to make sure that we are not unwittingly supporting and funding those who turn around and undermine democracy and development. So could you talk a little bit about, lessons we've learned in some of these countries where, despite despite what we thought were our best efforts, we ended up having the boomerang come around and hit us in the head?
Absolutely. I think maybe to answer part of your last question and then transition into this one, What we're doing differently is, even though we've always had a buy with and through approach, and you'll hear AFRICOM talk about that, it's been buy with and through a number of different partners. We're really focusing now on the African partners and looking at the multiple levels of where it is that we see engagement has been successful and where we maybe have lacked in providing additional support. For us, in our support to the Sahel strategy, we are looking at investing more in our civilian-led defense institutions. So regional centers like the Africa Center for Strategic Studies that focuses on institutional capacity building when it comes to governance and parliamentary and managing security resources. We're doing more to invest in that area. We're also working more with our Institute for Security Governance, which is under the Defense Security Cooperation Agency, to provide additional training at the multiple levels. So whether it's senior leaders, emerging security sector leaders, or at the training and sort of foot soldier level, we're ensuring that we are giving the entire holistic approach to what it means to have security assistance and security cooperation from both a governance standpoint as well as the trainer, advise, and assist, which we're typically known for.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.